All right, this goes like this. Please help me if this is depression or something fishy going on. My husband has not been talking to me of late. If he comes home from work, he goes directly to the bedroom, and if I ask him something, he just nods without talking. I notice his phone is off when he comes home, but intimacy, matrimonial duties, we are doing it. But in silence, he won't talk even though he's performing well.
Madam.
Well, okay. Let's recap.
Madam, you're being confused.
Let's recap. Okay, let's recap. This is a married woman. She and her husband are really enjoying their matrimonial bed. Yani akuna anagawa kugawa. It's just, you know, he is deducting to deduct, anagawa kugawa, okay? Chuma ni doshi. That is exactly the lifestyle she's enjoying. And as ever, she's not lacking when it comes to the boudoir. The boudoir is boudoiring, okay? However, after boudoir has boudoired, and it has boudoired well, the man's phone goes off, and the words also go off, because he does not use his mouth to talk at all. When he's asked anything, he just, When he's told anything, he's just, The man doesn't actually communicate anything other than in ad-libs. So I don't know. She's asking, is he depressed? Is it something fishy going on? Like, is he seeing someone else? Is he cheating on me? Whatever. Here's the thing, babe. I personally completely understand when men are stressed, they are stressed. And I'm saying this, that sounded so much. Oh, that sounded like the patriarchy has found me. Hey, I refuse. Let me just tell you a practical example. Just like you, when you're busy, you're stressed with work, you will find yourself being very irritable. And therefore, you will start reducing how much you talk because of the fact that you're just like always on edge, always stressed out. You're consistently not in the mood to have a conversation with anyone. However, that then, for some people, clearly not your man, transfers or is pushed even further into your sexual life, right? You guys are not very intimate because this person is really stressed out thinking about other things. In your case, that's not happening because he's really ensuring that his matrimonial duties are taken care of. So I think that's where it gets confusing, because if it is stress, if it is indeed stress, I don't know whether some people are able to do it when they're stressed. I don't know. Personally, it not for me. I imagine I will not be able to get it up. It's impossible. Like, I'm stressed. I'm thinking about other things. I'm not even mentally here. I'm probably not even thinking about. That's the last thing on my mind. However, let's go to the next issue. His phone is always off when he gets home. Again, we go back to, it could be work. Like, when he's done with work, he wants nothing to do with it. He just turns off his phone. Or again, it could just be that there's a whole other relationship on the side that he's really trying not to get involved with at home. Like, he turns off his phone so this other person is not able to contact them, right? So I think this is very confusing, honestly. I have never been so confused in my life. What I would do is I would sit down with him, even if it's just, I'd be like, babe, listen. I genuinely do not know what's going on with you, but I can tell you this for free. It is stressing me out, just worrying. I am worried sick about what's happening. I really don't know what is going on with you, and I'm starting to feel really frustrated because I don't know how to help you as your wife. I don't know how to intervene as your wife, and you really haven't said anything about it. So can you please just let me know what's going on? Like, what is happening? Is it work related? Even if you're not fully sure about what exactly it is, can you just tell me something? Like, give me, sometimes you don't need to have all the information at one go. Like, just tell them, hey, give me like something so I understand what's going on. Are you stressed? Is it work? Is it, something else? And even if you've not fully processed how you're dealing with this, just let me know what you need from me, right? Like, if it's work, I understand. For example, it's work, it's really difficult. I'm still trying to figure it out, babe. Just give me some time to figure it out, and then I will, let's have a conversation about this later. Like, it doesn't have to be a fully formed thought. You know what I'm saying? Don't push him to giving you the full story. Just understand, try and let him know to understand how it's making you feel. And a considerate person who's not doing anything suspicious will try to ease that burden, right? By actually trying to explain what's going on. And even if they're not fully explaining it, they at least give you that relief of like, there's nothing wrong. It's just work. It's A, B, C, D, E. I'm working on it. We'll talk about it a lot later when I've fully sorted it out, I think.
You know, I've noticed that there's usually this trend of asking women to rise above the noise, to always be the bigger person, to be the voice of reason. But to be honest, we are all human beings, and at this point you're married, so we are both adults. Why is this person okay with stonewalling you in your relationship? You know, your marriage is your safe space. This is your person, the person you have chosen each other in the whole world. You're doing life with this person. This is your ride or die. So for this person to now stonewall you and not communicate anything, and the only form of intimacy that you two have is sex, it kind of feels horrible, to be honest, because after sex, what's there? You know, you can't even cuddle with this person because they're not talking to you. And when you're not talking to somebody, it's like you don't like them, you know. So for your husband not to act like they don't like you and to act suspicious at home and offer no explanation or feel like they don't owe you an explanation is a horrible place to be at. And honestly, you don't need to be the bigger person. You can also be a mad woman, because why are we acting like this? Why are we both in this situation like this? Why am I the one who seems to be hurting and you don't want to even make an effort to rise above whatever is going on and simply communicate with me and say, hey babe, I'm working on something. You know, like, I'm very plagued by something right now. Work is difficult right now. My businesses are failing right now. There's something that's bothering me right now, but I love you. It is that simple. But we always put that burden and that responsibility of being the bigger person on the woman. What about her? She's human. She's somebody's daughter. She's entitled to say, hey, you're being a madman. Can you act correctly? That's just the thing that has stuck out for me. Why are we asking this lady to just be the bigger person? What about him? Who is holding him accountable? Who is telling him, by the way, you shouldn't do this to your wife? She's a human being. She's feeling like this. She's feeling very isolated in her marriage. Why are we putting this responsibility on the babe only? I feel so bad that she's in this relationship. And if you feel the need to maybe distance yourself for a hot minute, go to your father's house for like a minute. Just woosa. Because you know that anxiety you always have. You're in the house with somebody, but you can't talk to them. You're walking on eggshells around them. It is so uncomfortable. And it's even more hurtful when it's somebody who loves you, apparently. So me, I don't know what to say. I empathize with the situation. I understand how you feel, but I'm also not going to tell you to rise above it, because it's a very difficult position for you to be in.
I do have a question, however, because I see where you're coming from, and I completely understand it. Like, it's painful to even think of this woman. It, like, the butterflies, the baridi in your stomach, it's very anxiety provoking a situation to be in to begin with. However, at the same time, I do wonder whether, imagine if she's like not, how I'm trying. Imagine if, like, because I feel like there are two different polarizing people here. There could be one person who's like, you know what? Forget you. You're a terrible person. You're treating me horribly, blah, blah, blah. And then just like exit the chat. I need a moment. I also need a break, right? Yeah. And then they exit the chat, correct? However, there's also the other person who's like actually concerned. They're like, okay, their concern is then showcased in a form of, I don't know what's going on. Please just let me understand what's going on. So I wonder, what's your perspective on how the person who's not necessarily just ready to rumble? How do they approach it in a way that is defending themselves and defending their right to be listened to be loved correctly, to be respected in their marriage? I wonder how you would advise them to look or to get into that conversation.
She has already told us that anytime she tries to bring things up, it's one-word answers. She's being shut down. She's being stonewalled. So my advice for you is take a breather and also remember you're a human being. You have tried your best. There's no award for being the most suffering woman on the planet. There's no award for you being Kofi Annan in your marriage. So my advice to you is put yourself first. You know, he is also an adult. And the thing is, everyone is so aware of what they're doing as they're doing it. Even me right now, when I do something, I am very aware of what I'm doing. It wasn't a mistake, or I am very aware of if I'm not talking to you, there's a reason I'm not talking to you. Even if I don't feel like talking to you, there's a reason to all of this. So anytime I want to make an excuse for somebody, or I want to justify the way somebody is treating me, I usually remind myself that, hey, when I do something, I'm usually very aware of what I'm doing. When I say something to someone, I'm usually very aware. It's up to them to perceive how they perceive the message I've put out. So when you put that into perspective, you're like, this person knows exactly what they're doing. And that it's one of those things when you're a people pleaser that you have to see over time. You're like, hey, I would never do that to somebody on purpose and not feel somehow. So obviously he knows what he's doing. He is very aware. Don't make an excuse for him. And I feel like that's something we do all the time.